Hi, how are you? You're very welcome to your first mindfulness meditation and relaxation class of the series. I hope you're keeping well and that you're nice and safe at home. So you want to be for your class this evening or this morning, whenever it is that you might be tuning in, somewhere nice and cozy, somewhere quiet where you won't have too many interruptions or too much noise around you, and somewhere where you just feel safe and relaxed, where you can allow yourself just to drop into a quieter space environmentally, and you can allow yourself to drop into a quieter space within. So the class this evening and the exercises that we'll be going through this evening are safe to do in a bed. If you are happy to go lie in your bed, then you can take yourself there. Otherwise, a mat on the floor or something just covering the surface of the floor so that you'll be nice and warm and cozy. I suggest that you have a couple of blankets. If you have a yoga bolster, you might like to have one to pop onto your knees. And if you don't, a couple of cushions or pillows will do the trick for you. So you're very welcome to come to lying at this point. I'm going to talk to you for a couple of minutes about mindfulness and what mindfulness is about, and then we'll have a short grounding meditation. We'll follow that up with a progressive muscular relaxation exercise, which is also known as PMR, which is where we move through the body and little by little we're going to create tension in the body and then release it so that we can let go of any tension that might be stored in your muscles. And that's generally quite releasing for stress in the body. And then at the end, we'll have a short guided yoga nidra relaxation. So get yourself set up, get any bits and pieces that you need, and put me on pause. And you can pause any time that you'd like as we go through. And when you're nice and comfortable, we'll begin. So come to lying, and just make sure that you're going to be lying for most of the class, and you really want to be comfortable. So if you tend to suffer from any or have any difficulties with lower back discomfort, or you like to have something under your knees just for a little bit of height, I would suggest if you had the yoga bolster, pop it under your knees. Otherwise, a few pillows or a few cushions underneath the knees will do the same thing for you, and you will be you'll be much more comfortable. And even if you don't have any lower back discomfort, that can be a nice thing to do. Anyway. You don't want to have your head too high, so only have whatever head support or neck support that you need to be comfortable. But ideally, you want to be as flat as possible through the length of the body. Having said that, I've suggested raising your knees, but that's for a particular reason around your back. And then also just make sure that you're nice and warm. So if you have yourself covered with a blanket, have it nice and loose so that it's not going to constrict your movement. You will need to be able to move your limbs later on. And then just come to a comfortable resting position, comfortable lying position. So mindfulness is all about trying to ground ourselves and connect ourselves to the present moment. And the power of the present moment is that it's happening right now, so we have a certain amount of control within it. Anything that's already in the past is out of our grasp, out of our reach, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do to change it. And being stuck in our thoughts in the past is often a source of depression and something that can keep us quite stuck. If we think too far into the future, and too far into the future might be an hour or two away, or it might be tomorrow, it might be what's going to happen in a week or a month's time, then that tends to provoke anxiety, because often it brings about with it a lot of uncertainty. And we're living in quite uncertain times at the moment. So thinking too far ahead isn't going to be very grounding or nourishing for us either. So in the present moment, in the here and now, we have a certain amount of control, even when we may not have control. So by that, what I mean is we have an ability to respond to what's actually happening, rather than things that are in the past that we can do nothing about, or in the future that we can't respond to yet. And we work a lot with our breath in mindfulness to connect us to the present moment. So one of the most common descriptions, or one of the most common, I suppose, summaries of Western mindfulness is by John Kabat-Zinn, and he describes mindfulness as paying attention on purpose in a particular way to what's going on in the present moment without judgment. So we're choosing to notice what's going on in the present moment, and we're choosing to use our breath and our bodies to ground us, for example. We're doing it in a particular way, which is paying attention in a way that's light attention, focused attention. So we're not scrutinizing it, we're not being overly effortful with it, but we're just choosing to notice. And the piece about without judgment is that we're not judging anything as being absolutely awful, or adding judgments to things that are already quite difficult. And we're not judging things as amazing, even when they're quite nice. Because when that happens, when we really like something, we get quite attached to it and we want it to be a particular way. And when there's difficult circumstances that we're negotiating and we start to add our judgments and awfulize about them, we tend to make our interpretations and our reactions to them much more pronounced and much more anxiety provoking and stress provoking. So there's a lot going on around us at the moment that we could judge as being bad. And there are things that are very difficult, absolutely life-changing, unprecedented, and extremely difficult and challenging. But if we bring any more drama to that than the facts are stark enough as they are. If we start to add our own dramas and our own fears and concerns that are beyond our current control on top of that, it becomes much more unmanageable. So it will really serve as well if we can be as grounded and focused on what we can do right now to help ourselves in the current situation. And that's the current situation we find ourselves, but this applies to anything in life at any particular time. What can I do? Where do I have control? And then where I have to release control, can I take control somewhere else? Can I take control of my breath? Can I take control of my reaction? I can't control what's happening around me, but I can control how I interact with it, how I relate to it. And that's very much what the practice of mindfulness helps us to learn to do. But we start at the beginning, and the beginning is with our breath. So right here, right now, in this moment, just notice your body as it's resting. Be aware of all of the points where your body is connecting into a support. And invite yourself to fully release to that support, whatever it might be, your yoga mat, the floor, a rug, your bed, wherever you might be right now. Notice where your head is resting, and check is your head and your neck comfortable. Is there anything that you can do to improve your comfort? And if there is, take your control there. Don't leave yourself being uncomfortable if there's something that you can do to be a little more at ease. Notice where the shoulders are resting, particularly the space between the shoulder blades, the upper back. If there's any discomfort here, so if you feel like the clothing is bunching or you're resting onto your spine rather than the muscular back, if you roll your palms towards the ceiling and one at a time to feel your shoulder blades releasing back down. Just check, does that feel any better for you? Noticing where your pelvis, your hips, your glutes are resting down, and again, just check. Is there anything you need to wiggle to adjust here so that you can be a bit more comfortable? Notice the backs of the legs, so are the calves connecting with your support, so the knees elevated, in which case there might be some space between the knees and the calves. And you might be noticing connection at the back of the knees. Notice your feet and your heels resting down. And make any little wiggles, any little adjustments that will allow the body to be more comfortable. Notice where your arms are resting. Are they resting on the surface beneath you? The hands resting on your belly? Are the arms resting alongside your body or away from your body? And none of this is important in that there's no right or wrong way, but what is important is just tuning your awareness and your attention away from external distractions and into you as you are here in this moment, right here, right now. Allowing your body to settle, allowing your breath to settle. And tuning your awareness, choosing to draw your awareness very gently to your breath. Not changing it, not trying to do anything other than notice it coming and going. Notice as your breath makes its way into your body. And notice it again as it's leaving. If it's comfortable to breathe through the nose and the nostrils, allowing the breath to enter through this part of the breath channel. And then releasing the breath again through the nose. And if there's any congestion, if you had a cold, if you have anything going on that's making it difficult to breathe through your nose, then you're going to breathe through your mouth. So breathe in the way that's most comfortable and least effortful for you right now. And if your mind wanders, and your mind will want to wander, invite it back over and over to your breath as it comes and goes. So I'm going to lead you now in a very simple breath counting meditation. When we bring a counting in to work with our breath, it sometimes helps because it gives our mind something to think about, and we're less likely to be distracted and less likely to wander off into random thoughts. And those random thoughts often bring us to worrying places. So I'm going to count backwards from 5 to 1. And each inhalation and exhalation will be represented by a number. So when I say the number, and I invite you to repeat it in your mind, literally when I say count 5, we're just saying the number 5 to ourselves in our minds. We're not counting up to 5. So it's not like I'm saying 5, but I'm trying to get up there in terms of for rhythmic count up. Same with each other number that we name. So we're going to take a moment or two just to continue, bring your awareness back to your breath after that little distraction, wondering what's to come. Take a nice full inhalation. And just one more thing to say before we start is that when I'm counting, I'm talking, I'm counting, I'm breathing myself at my own pace. So I'm doing a little bit more than you're doing. It's not going to be possible for me to lead this in a way that's going to exactly mirror your own breathing. So please don't change your breath or change the number that you're on just because you hear me saying something potentially different. Just follow your own rhythm, follow your own flow, and allow yourself to either slow down or catch up to wherever I might be in your own way, in your own time. So don't change where you're at. So we're going to take a nice full inhalation. Exhale, count 5. Inhale, count 4. Exhale, count 3. Inhale, count 2. Exhale, count 1. Inhale, count 2. Exhale, count 3. Inhale, count 4. Exhale, count 5. Inhale, count 4. Exhale, count 3. Inhale, count 2. Exhale, count 1. I'm going to invite you to repeat that now for 2 rounds in your own mind using your own voice. All you're doing is you're counting backwards from 5 to 1 and all the way back up to 5 again. That's 1 round. You're going to do that twice. And each time you're counting the inhale with 1 number, the exhale with the next. If you lose your count, if you forget where you are, just bring yourself back to the beginning again. Start at 5 again. And just one subtle difference is when you're doing it, see if you can draw out the number that you're saying in your mind to match the length of the breath from start to finish. So that, for example, when you're saying 5 in your mind, it might sound something like 5. A bit weird when I say it out loud, but you're trying to draw out the number to the length of the breath. And that's just going to make it a little bit more grounding and a little bit more almost hypnotic for you. So take a nice full inhalation. And on your exhale, begin your count at 5. And let the count go now. So I may have interrupted you, you may have been still mid-flow, you may have already finished. But that's just a small, gentle little, but very effective breathing exercise that you can do. You may have noticed that as the moments went on, you slow down a little, that your second round may have been a little bit longer and slower than your first round. And either of them may have been a little bit slower than your breathing when you very first started the practice, beginning of the class. So it's an exercise that you could do for 2 minutes on your sofa at any time, or when you pop to the loo, or you're waiting for the kettle to boil, when you get a minute away from the kids, or you need to take a minute away from something that's going on in your day. And it will just pull you out of thoughts, into your breath, into your body. And what we do with mindfulness often, because the mind is designed to think, and we don't want it to stop thinking, that's what it's there for. It's when it brings us into the thoughts get a little bit out of control, or they're too random and we're suddenly worrying and getting carried away with a story that we're creating rather than the reality that we're living, that it becomes difficult for us and challenging for us. So when you bring a count in, that gives the mind something to do. So it's happy. We call it the monkey mind, has a job. And also it connects you in a little bit more fully to your breath. So I encourage you to, after your class, as you're going through your days, you're going back into the week, have that one in your bag of tricks that you can just call into action on a regular basis. So for now, just make sure that you're nice and comfortable lying again. And we're going to start our progressive muscular relaxation, where we're going to move through the body creating and exaggerating tension in the body, and then letting it go. And it's in the letting go, it's the exaggeration followed by the letting go that really helps to release stress that we might be holding. So just a little guidance on it to start off with. And I've come to sitting a little while ago. If you just happen to look up, you don't need to come to sit. You're going to, unless you'd like to, but you're probably going to be more comfortable to continue lying. So the main thing to bear in mind with this, or it's not an instruction, but it's a guideline with this, is that when I ask you to create tension, you're going to, and I'll tell you to exaggerate it, we're going to squeeze muscle groups as much as we can. So for example, if we're squeezing the hands or squeezing the muscles in the arms, we're going to squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. And when I say all at once, just let go, you just imagine that you're dropping. Imagine that you're holding something, like you're holding a ball, and then you just drop it. You're not putting the ball down onto the floor carefully. You're not releasing the hands in a controlled sort of way. I want you to imagine that you're something like a Barbie doll or an action man 1 minute, and then when I say just let go, you turn into a rag doll. So you literally just go oof, flop. And that might take a moment or two to tune into, but it's just that, it's that extreme between the exaggerated tension and the letting go that really gives us the release in the muscles. So if you come to first of all, bring your awareness to your hands. And I'd like to invite you to spread your fingers as wide apart as they will, and only focusing on the muscles in the hands. Really exaggerate the tension in the hands. So you might want to bring a little kind of almost like claw shape into the fingers. Try to keep the biceps fairly relaxed, the shoulders fairly relaxed. Try to keep your belly relaxed. Really, really just exaggerate that, stretching those hands and the tension in those fingers. Take a nice full inhalation, and whenever you're ready to release the breath as you exhale all at once, just let the hands relax, let the fingers flop. Take a nice full in-breath and out-breath. And we're going to do the opposite. Squeeze the hands into a tight fist. And again, we're letting all of the other muscles in the body relax as much as we can while we really exaggerate this tension in the fists. If you have long nails or you're wearing rings, just be careful and do whatever you need to do to mind yourself. Exaggerate that tension even further. Squeeze until the hands almost feel a little bit sore, or they maybe start to quiver a little bit. Take a nice full inhalation. And then all at once as you exhale, just let go. Let the hands relax and just let them rest back on the floor of your belly. And notice whatever you notice in terms of tingling, in terms of that release of tension. This time we're going to bring the arms into the mix as well. So stretch your arms out in front of you. Bring the hands as wide as they can. Bring that little claw-like action into your fingers, and really tense from your fingertips all the way up to your shoulders. Now try and keep breathing as I'm talking, but try and keep your belly nice and relaxed. Try and keep your chest relaxed. Keep the legs relaxed. Exaggerate the tension in the hands and the arms as much as you can. Can you exaggerate it even more? Can you really engage all those muscles in the arms? Make them as tense as you can. Take a nice full inhalation. And then all at once, just let go. And let the hands and the arms flop back down. Notice whatever you notice. In terms of tingling, in terms of warmth, in terms of flow of fluids, blood flow. And then we're going to do the opposite. So stretch out the arms again, create the fist. Nice tight fist here with the hands. Bring that tension from the hands all the way up to the shoulders. Really bring as much tension into the hands and the arms as you can. Keep the rest of the body relaxed, especially your belly. Can you tense even more? You might start to quiver a little bit, and that's what we're looking for. We want lots of activity in these muscles, lots of tension in these arms. Take a nice full inhalation, and then all at once, in your own time, on an exhale, let go. Sigh anytime your body wants to sigh as we go through this. And again, notice the difference between holding on and letting go. So you're going to bring your shoulders all the way up to your ears as you inhale. And as you exhale, just let go. Let the shoulders release back down towards your waist. Nice full inhalation all the way up towards the ears again. Exhale and let go. And then inhale, shoulders all the way up towards the ears. Create as much tension as you can. So squeeze the shoulders in towards each other. Keep the belly relaxed. Take a nice full inhalation as you exhale. Let go. On your next inhalation, pull your shoulders down towards your waist. Squeeze the shoulders in towards each other and towards the center of the body. So can you exaggerate that for a moment or two more, keeping the arms relaxed, keeping the belly relaxed, legs relaxed. And then all of a sudden on an exhalation, let go. I'm going to do that one more time. Bring the shoulders down towards the waist, squeeze them in towards each other. Poke them in as tightly as you can. Keep the arms relaxed, the hands relaxed, the belly relaxed. And then all at once, just let go. Roll the palms forwards towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together at the center of the back. So imagine that you're trying to tie a bow between your shoulder blades. Hug the shoulders in towards each other. Keep the belly relaxed. Keep the chest relaxed. Keep the arms relaxed. And you relax everything, but just bring as much tension here into the middle of the back and the shoulders as you can. And then all at once in an exhalation, just let it go. And then we're going to bring the shoulders forwards towards the center of the chest. So again, squeezing in towards the center of the chest. Don't squeeze too much here. Don't squeeze so that you put any strain on your sternum or that feels uncomfortable across your breastbone. But as much as is comfortable, keeping the arms relaxed, keeping the neck, the belly, and the rest of the body relaxed. Take a nice full inhalation, and then all at once, just let go. So when the muscles work in opposite pairs, or when there's joints involved and there's rotations in opposite directions, we try to invite all of the muscles to get involved. So we're going to bring your awareness now and your attention up to your face. So take a nice full inhalation. Exhale. And as you inhale again, I want you to squeeze your face up into a little prune face. So imagine bring your eyebrows closer together, purse your lips into a tiny little O, bring the cheeks closer together. Hold that for a moment, see if you can breathe through it. Take a nice full inhalation. And in your own time, when you're ready to exhale, just let go. Relax your face and let it go. And this time I want you to create a big O with your lips, so like a giant lion's roar. So make the biggest O you possibly can, so your mouth is as open as it can be. Really stretching the lips as far apart from top to bottom and side to side as you can. And then start to take in a couple of gulps of air as you wiggle your tongue around towards that soft part at the bottom and the back of the mouth. A couple more gulps of air, and then all of a sudden, let it go. Soften out. Relax your face. Let it go and just notice how you're feeling. So again, just bringing tension, relaxing it. Now bring your awareness and your attention to your forehead. So I want you to frown. Bring the eyebrows as close together as you can. And notice, maybe you can bring your fingertips to the space between your forehead. Notice the furrows there, notice the brows coming together. And then release half of that tension. Notice how that feels for your forehead. Notice how it feels for your face, how it feels for your mood, how it feels all the way down into your body, all the way down to your belly. Release half of that tension again. And now bring your fingertip back to your forehead. And what you'll probably find when you bring your fingertip back to your forehead is actually the furrow is still there. You're still holding a little bit of tension in your forehead. Now relax all of that. So almost smile with your eyes so that the forehead releases out as much as is possible. Bring your fingertips to the center of your forehead, and we're going to just make sure that we're easing out any tension that might be held there. So you're going to just nice and slowly massage across to the temples, pulling your fingers apart. And when you come to the circle through the temples, make 3 very gentle circles around the temples with the fingertips or with the pads of your fingers. 3 times clockwise and 3 times anti-clockwise. And don't push too firmly, but don't be too light either. So a nice, just relieving little massage there. Come back to the center of the forehead again, and just nice and slowly ease away any wrinkles, ease away any lines. Really what we're doing is easing away any tension, fingertips to the temples, and then 3 times clockwise and 3 times anti-clockwise. And then you might want to repeat that one final time, going back to the center of the forehead again, coming out to the temples, 3 times clockwise and 3 times anti-clockwise. But when we did that part of the exercise earlier, you continued to massage yourself there, where we held that, we created the tension with the forehead, we let go half of it and then half of that again, about 25% of the original tension. That's what tends to happen when we frown at something. So you might frown at something earlier in the day and completely forget about it, or be a bit cross or worried and completely forget about it, but you hold on to tension in the forehead, and that's telling your brain that you're stressed, and that's giving you that sort of distorted mood feeling that you might have noticed there, where you just felt a little bit grumpy all of a sudden. So let go of the massage for the temples and the eyebrow, or the temples and the forehead for now. You can come back to that later. And bring your awareness around now, bring the hands around and your awareness around to your neck, and just give yourself a little massage there for the neck. So really, if you just bring the fingertips in alongside your cervical spine there, that kind of bony part at the back of the spine up into the neck, and then just gently, a nice firm pressure, but again, you don't want to feel like you're pressing too firmly and it's becoming anyway uncomfortable. You're just gliding the fingers down towards the front of the body, towards the throat, but not across the throat. And then one last time there, just easing out any tension you might be holding in the neck, and see how nice that feels. Just give yourself that little massage. Come across with your right hand to your left shoulder. Give yourself a little circular massage there for the top of the shoulder, for that part in towards the top and at the back, where you all tend to hold a little tension. And then maybe you want to bring that round underneath your collarbone at the front and take it to the other side. So your left hand to your left shoulder, nice massage here. Find any sore spots, just putting a little bit of firmness into them. A little circular motion helps to release out some knots. And then back across your shoulder again, and maybe just a gentle release underneath your shoulder blade. And then just do both shoulders together. And as you do that, take the elbows nice and wide. Let the hands come from, say, the base of your neck, the nape of your neck, across the shoulders. And then really squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Drop the shoulders towards your waist. And as you exhale, just release and let go. So releasing tension there out of the shoulders and the neck. So nice and slowly as you exhale, you're going to bring your chin and your nose over towards your right shoulder. And move really slowly. See, can you take 2 breaths to get across, where exhale, halfway, pause, and then inhale, and then continue on your exhale. When you inhale again, nice and slowly glide, float back to center, either in 1 breath or perhaps 2. A nice full inhalation, nice full exhalation, nice full inhalation again, and then continue out in the opposite direction. So gliding, floating along towards the opposite shoulder, go halfway and pause on your inhale. So really slowing it down. Exhaling and continuing across on your exhale. And then gliding back to center in 1 or 2 breaths when you come to inhale again. You're going to pull your shoulders up to your ears one more time. Exhale and release. And then move your attention down to your belly, to your abdomen. So make sure your jaw is nice and soft and relaxed. Actually, we'll just come back to, before we come to the belly, just come back to your face for 1 moment. You really want to make sure that you're not holding any tension in your forehead, and the jaw is another busy body. If we relax and soften our jaw, it has often a nice relaxing effect on the rest of the body. I want you to smile. So imagine someone lovely, someone you really like, someone who brings up feelings of warmth and fondness in you, or it might be a place in nature, it might be a furry friend, Just something that's going to make you have a sense of just warmth and well-being, and try not to let it be something that's out of your reach at the moment, something that's also going to bring up maybe changes of sadness. Just something nice. And imagine this person, place, thing as if they're in front of you. And then for a couple of breaths, inhale as you allow yourself to smile, and just notice the effect of the smile on your mood. Notice the effect of the smile on your body and your sense of ease and well-being. So when you smile, you're telling your mind, it's telling your brain that you're not necessarily happy, but that you're at ease, that you're comfortable, and maybe a little bit happy as well. Smiles aren't always about happiness, but and that your brain is going to give you some of the relaxation hormones, the happy juice that make you feel good when it gets that message. In the same way that when it hears from the mind that the forest is frowning, it's going to say, oops, there's something wrong. It's going to give you the cortisol and the stress hormones. So having the corners of your mouth closer to the tips of your ears, facing in that direction, is one way to help to relax the body, and it's one way to help to just soften you out a bit. And that's why smiling and laughing are so powerful, no matter how bad we're feeling. You know, we have a little smile or a little giggle and we just immediately feel better. Even if it's not for very long, it's a little hit of relaxation hormones and some of the hormones that make us feel good. So try and watch out for your face at the moment as well, that you're not particularly watching the news, that you try and balance out your media consumption and your daily life with smiles as well as friends. So back to the belly. And it's good to go from the face to the belly and talking about the brain, because a lot of the same cells that are in the brain are also in the belly, and we hold a lot of tension there often. When our mind is worried, often our belly tenses up, and that's a lot to do with the vagus nerve that runs from the brain, and we now know runs down into the abdomen. So I want you to create as much tension as you can in your belly. So squeeze the muscles. Now, if you're pregnant, be really careful with this and don't overdo it. Just bring a little bit of tension in, because you don't want to constrict space for your baby in there. But for the rest of us, unless, again, if you're recovering from surgery, be careful. But otherwise, bring tension into the abdominal muscles above and below the navel. And imagine that you're trying to squeeze into a pair of jeans that are at least a size too small. And we probably can all relate to that at the moment. So sucking in the belly, as if you're just trying to hold yourself in here. See, can you exaggerate the tension a little bit more? Continue to breathe as normal. Don't stop breathing. Don't tense up the arms. Don't tense up your face. Don't tense up the legs. Take a nice full inhalation. And as you exhale, sigh out and release. How much did you sigh out there? So you're still holding a little bit of tension. So we want to go for that absolute poof, letting it go. So, and when you let go of the squeezing in, you want your belly to just relax and flop all the way back out again. So we're going to do that one more time. So holding on, creating as much tension in the abdominal area and your abs as much as you can, above and below the navel. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Your jeans have just shrunk a little bit more. Take a nice slow inhalation. Squeeze a little bit more. Exaggerate that tension, and as you exhale, the breath out and let the entire area around your belly relax. Take a moment to notice how that feels. Do you want to sigh? Do you want to yawn? Do you want to do anything else at the moment? Oh, I want to sigh and yawn. So, how does your body want to communicate that release for you? So we're going to move around the back of the body now. The best way to deal with the lower back, we dealt with the upper back earlier by squeezing the shoulders in together, but the best way to create tension and release tension in the lower back, it's quite tricky to isolate the muscles there, but there is a pathway to your glutes, and the tops of the glutes in particular often store a lot of tension for the lower back. So I want you to squeeze your glutes. So take a nice full inhalation, and as you do, squeeze your glutes as tightly as you can. So imagine that you're doing some bone toning here. You may lift slightly from your from your support. Continue to breathe normally in and out as you squeeze the glutes. Now try not to let the legs get too engaged in this. Try not to let the belly get involved. Take a nice full inhalation, squeeze a little more if you can, and then as you exhale all at once, let go. Let the glutes relax, the glutes and the muscles in the bum. We're going to do that again because a lot of us hold a lot of tension in the lower back. You'll often find if you have a massage, when you get down towards the top of your glutes, it can be absolutely excruciating because that's where we hold a lot of tension sometimes and we don't even know it. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Create that tension as much as you can. And as you exhale in your own time, let it go. Let the bum relax, let the legs relax, let the belly relax, let everything just ease back out, flat back out. Take a nice full inhalation and an exhalation. Noticing and being more and more aware every moment of the difference between holding on and letting go. And now we're going to bring our awareness to our legs. So as we move down to the legs, just be careful with your knees that when we're creating tension, particularly when we're tipping the toes away, that you don't lock around your knees, that you keep soft around the knees. It is possible to create tension in the thighs and in the shins without locking your knees. So we'll start by tipping the toes away and we'll deal with the muscles in the front of the legs. So keeping the upper body from the hips up as relaxed as you can, your face as relaxed as you can, the belly, the torso, the arms, the back. I want you to create as much tension as you can in the fronts of the legs. So the fronts of the thighs, around the shins, and the tops of the feet. Tip your toes away, tip your ankles away. Squeeze it as much as you like. You might even like to lift your feet an inch or so off your support. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Try not to squeeze too much into the backs, but see how you go. And then all at once in an exhalation, just let go. Let the legs completely relax. Let them fall out any way that they want to. Notice how that feels. And I want you to tip your heels away. I want you to, but only if you want to. Tip your heels away, toes back towards the chest. I should really say I invite you, because it's not an instruction, it's an invitation. Tip your heels away, toes back towards your chest. And again, just soft around the knees here, don't lock. Create as much tension as you can in the backs of the legs. So the backs of the thighs, the backs of the calves. Well, the calves are at the back of the legs and all the way down to the ankles. So really bring as much tension in here as you like. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, you might like to lift a tiny little bit off your support. And then all at once in an exhalation, just let go. Let the legs release. Let the legs roll out. We'll move to the feet, so tip the toes away. Squeeze the toes in together. We won't spend too long here because you don't want to cramp. Tipping the toes forwards and squeezing. Have a nice inhalation as you exhale, just let go. And then toes back towards your chest. Squeeze the toes. Not really squeeze the toes in together so easily this way because they're moving back, but just bring some tension there into the toes. Exaggerate it for a moment and then all at once, just let it go and let the feet roll out in a way that's comfortable for you. Take a moment just to rest and just to be. So we've taken a trip there through your entire body, working in all of the major muscles, all the major muscle groups, creating tension, really exaggerating it, holding it, and then just letting it completely go. So what I'm going to do now for a few moments is I invite you to go back to whatever area gave you the greatest sense of the release, the greatest sense of letting go when you did this first time. And remember, when there's an opposite set of muscles, you work both sides. So we started with the fingers, we extended the fingers out, created tension, and then we softened them on an exhale. We created a fist, created loads of tension, and then we softened on an exhale. We brought the arms into it, so the hands and the arms extended and softened. The fist extended with the arms extended, and then we softened. We went to the shoulders. We went up, and we released down. We went down, and we released. We went back behind us, and we released, and we went forwards, and we released. Whichever one of those gave you the greatest release, go back to it. And what I would say is if you go forwards, go back as well with shoulder blades behind you. If you go up, go down, just so that you're working the opposite dynamics there. We went to the face and you had your little pursed up lips and your little prune face, and then you had your giant lion's roar face. And then we had a little massage for the forehead and the temples. You don't need to repeat the frowning. I don't recommend that. That was really just an exercise to experience that and to be aware of it. You might want to repeat the smiling. We gave ourselves a little neck massage and shoulder massage. And then we came to the belly. So we created tension in the belly, we let it go. We created tension in the glutes. Excuse me, and we let it go. We went to the fronts of the legs, creating tension and letting go. Always letting go on the exhale and always letting go fully, just flop. And then we went back to the legs and we let go. You tipped your toes away, your feet away. So you squeezed into the toes and let them go, tipping them forwards and bringing them back. So go to whichever one of those exercises give you the greatest sense of release and repeat that a couple of times there. And I'll explain to you while you're doing that the real benefit of progressive muscular relaxation. It's every worry that you have in your mind, every stress that you experience in your life as a thought goes down into your body and gets trapped off and stored and often trapped in your muscles. Sometimes goes to the joints as well, but your muscles. And muscles have memory. We talk about muscle memory, and muscle memory is what helps us to remember how to ride a bike and remember how to pick things up and remember how to do things once we've learned to do them. But muscles also store trauma, and they also store memories from things that have happened where we've gone rigid or we've had a particular response physically. And if we don't take the time to let go of the tension in our bodies and the tension in our muscles, it builds up. So there can be a day when your mind is clear, when there's not a care in the world happening for you, but your body feels quite tense and quite stressed. And that can be residues of old traumas, of old worries, and often it's your muscles holding on to stress long after you've forgotten about it. So your mind wanders off and goes somewhere else. The muscles often hold on. Now, if you've done your 2 or 3 times repeating where you got the greatest sense of release, go and do the same thing where you had the least sense of release. And I'll tell you what in a minute. So there's a lot of clinical, this exercise is used a lot in clinical settings. It's used a lot in physiotype settings. It's used a lot in mental health settings. It's used a lot in hospital settings, and it's used a lot where the body holds a lot of tension and letting it go. It's also used a lot for trauma release. It is so beneficial, and it's clinically proven to reduce a lot of the detrimental effects of stress on the body's immune system, on things like it lowers blood pressure if you do it consistently over a period of time. So doing this about 3 times a week over a 3 to 4 week period is shown to reduce blood pressure. It's shown to have a positive impact on our endocrine system or hormone regulation, and really good for the heart and a number of other regulatory concerns as well. So good for managing stress. So if you've done the exercise a couple of times where you weren't getting the benefit, I just want you to check in. How did it feel that time? Was it any more releasing or beneficial for you this time, or was it the same as before? And the reason that I encourage you to try it out is sometimes when we don't get a strong release from a particular area of the body, it's because maybe we're not holding tension there. That's one option, and the other option is that we might be holding quite deep tension there, and it's a little bit more tricky, a little bit more reluctant to let go. So this is a really beneficial exercise, and I would encourage you, particularly at the moment, and particularly you can do this, you don't have to do the whole thing. You might know that you hold loads of tension in your shoulders, and you can just do the shoulder release, and that'll give you a whoosh sensation. But if you can do it for about 20 minutes a few times a week over the next little while, you're going to really feel the benefit of it. So I'm going to invite you to take your knees to your chest, and if you have bolster under your knees or cushions under your knees and they're not in your way, you just leave them there. Take your knees to chest, hug the shins in towards the body, thighs in towards the body, and then you can hold on to your wrists or your elbows, while you rock from side to side. So just give yourself a little massage there for the back, for the vertebrae in your back. Take your hands onto your knees and make some small little circles, nice slow circles. Half a circle for an in-breath, half a circle for an out-breath. And then go in the opposite direction. So just waking up your pelvis and your lower back. And then extend your arms away from you. And make a nice circle here. Half a circle for an inhalation, half a circle for an exhalation. And then come back in the other direction. Half a circle for an inhalation, half a circle for an exhalation. Lovely. Roll over onto your right side. If you're pregnant, go left. Make it a cradle for your head as you go around, and just have a breath or two here in the fetal position. And I'm going to invite you to come onto all fours. If it's not comfortable to come onto all fours, you might just want to continue there, lying on your back, maybe do a little bit more of that rolling that we were just doing with the circles with your knees. So coming onto all fours, your knees are hip width apart underneath your hips. Your fingers are spread nice and wide. Wrists are underneath your shoulders. Take your wrists slightly forwards if you have any lower back discomfort. And we're going to just take a little cat-cow move here. So the tops of my feet grounded. It just protects the knees a little bit more. So as you exhale, take your tailbone towards your heels. Release your head to look between your legs and just arch your shoulders up towards the ceiling. And when you're ready to inhale, release your tailbone to the ceiling. Release the shoulders. And look forward towards the wall opposite you. Let your gaze be as high along that wall as it wants to go. And flow with that for a couple more breaths. So exhaling into your cat, tailbone down, really arching up through those shoulders, pressing down with the hands on the feet, and then releasing your tailbone, releasing your shoulders, releasing your gaze forwards, and once more in either direction. So cat. So we're just mobilizing the spine here, releasing out the spine after you're lying down there for a little while. And then bring a kind of slinky movement into it, so that you just a little bit of an organic movement. You might want to bring your hips back towards your heels. You're going to stretch into the side body there. And then either come back so that you're sitting with your bum onto your heels, or if that's not comfortable, you can sit on your bum with your legs out in front of you. And we're just going to take a nice full inhalation as we bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Let the hands come together in prayer position, and as you exhale, just take a little banana stretch out to the left side. Inhale back to center, shoulders low, fingers high. Exhale out to the other side. Inhale back to center. Exhale out to the side. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the side. Take the arms nice and wide onto your waist. Take your elbows back behind you or in towards each other. And as we exhale, we're going to just have a little torso twist to the left side as you look around over your left shoulder. Inhale back to center. And then a little torso twist right to the right side. And inhale back to center. And then you're going to allow yourself to hinge from your hips. Take your belly towards your thighs. If you're sitting in the seated variation, you do the same thing, but you just take your belly towards your thighs and then between the legs, and you take the hands onto the legs and release your chin. And if you're coming in the seated variation, you can bring your belly all the way to the thighs, your head all the way to the floor, the arms back behind you. So coming into a child's pose here and just releasing forwards completely. Release the shoulders and let go. Take some nice, long, deep, slow breaths there. Sighing out on your exhalations. Nice, long, deep, slow, sighing breaths. Have one or two more breaths here. And then in your own time, you're going to bring yourself back towards sitting or kneeling. And all the way back to lying down. So get yourself nice and comfortable lying down again, just for about another 10 minutes or so. So cover yourself with a blanket, make sure you're nice and warm. If you have the props underneath your knees again, you might like to go back to that. Just get yourself nice and comfy. I'm just going to put on a little bit of music for our last few minutes. Allow the body to settle. This is Sarve Sham, Jack Harrison, which you'll know from class if you attend class with me regularly. Relax your jaw, soften your mouth, your lips, your tongue. Allow your breath to deepen. Allow the breaths to be nice and long, deep, slow and full. Relaxing the entire face, scalp. Softening and relaxing your shoulders. Relaxing your biceps, your elbows, forearms, wrists and hands. Softening and relaxing all of your fingers. Relaxing your back. Letting your hips, your pelvis, your glutes be heavy and relaxed. Relaxing the fronts and the backs of the thighs, calves, the shins, the ankles, the feet, tops of the feet, soles of the feet, and all of your toes. Relaxing your awareness to your breath. Just noticing the coming and going of breath. Particularly with your out breaths, releasing any tension the body might be storing, and allow the body to sigh as often as it likes. Sighing breaths or cleansing breaths, releasing breaths. Imagine that every part of your body is making contact with the support beneath. Is a door. With every exhalation, the door opens and releases tensions, cares, worries, concerns, mental, physical, and emotional, out into the space beneath. Allow your in-breaths to nourish you, to nurture you, to call in vitality, strength, resilience, well-being, calm, ease, peace. Every exhalation, be releasing, cleansing breath, breath that carries away any cares or worries that aren't serving you, any cares or worries that aren't of use to you, don't help you, help your well-being. Most cares and worries don't. When your mind wanders, as your mind is apt to do, just bring it back over and over to your breath. I'm going to lead you in a verse or two of the metta meditation, the loving kindness meditation. So as much as you can, as much as you will, making these words your own. May I be well. May I be happy. May I ride the waves of my life. May I live in peace amongst all I am given. May I be well. May I be happy. May I ride the waves of my life at this time. May I live in peace amongst all I am given. And offering this out to our family, to our friends, to our loved ones, our communities, all people, all over the world, all beings near and far. At this time, may we each be well. May we each find happiness, ease, and peace. May we work through this time together. And may we find peace amongst all our difficulties so that we can meet again together and be together once more. May we be well. May we be happy. May we find peace, ease, calm, and balance. Allow your breaths to be nice and long, deep, slow and full. Allow yourself to be here, be now with your breath for a few more moments. Quiet, stillness, and ease. Om Shanti, peace. Peace to us all. Peace to the world. May we be happy and may we be free. You can find freedom in your breath, freedom from your thoughts, freedom from external worries, for moments at a time, just by tuning in to what's going on around you in the present moment, connecting with your breath, giving your mind a moment or two of stillness to rebuild you, to build strength and resilience, and to keep you grounded, keep you nourished, keep you well. So you're welcome to stay. You're at home. You're welcome to stay as long as you like where you are. Allowing your breath to continue to guide you, to continue to ground you. Just as often as your mind wanders, perhaps if you'd like a few moments more of just staying away from wandering mind and wandering thoughts, bring your awareness back to your breath counting meditation. Maybe just trying that once or twice more. Starting at 5, coming all the way back to 1. Every inhalation and exhalation is represented by a number. Draw out the word if you're able to. And then back up to 5 again. And maybe decide before you start how many times you want to do that, once or twice or 3 times. If you lose your count along the way, go back to the beginning again, go back to 5. It's like putting your mind on the naughty step. It'll soon start to pay attention so that you can finish. So stay safe, be well. When you decide to move, have a few stretches along the way, have a few sighs along the way, and then have a nice cleansing glass of water or maybe a herbal tea just to flush out some of the toxins that you will have released just during that PMR exercise where we've released tension from the body. So thank you for joining me. Take care and see you soon.